You go down quickly. But he...
I don't have slots.
No, because if they were, you'd be.
No, but it doesn't
No,
matter.
no, for female.
Just so they're honest.
Well done. Well done.
Sam is not coming,
Right.
so you can.
And the bones didn't come. Are they going on their own? They said they got married.
Did we marry, darling? We did get married.
I've left my thing at home.
Well done.
Big trouble. You go to the retreat? Are you coming back at 2:30 or not?
We're just fashionably on time.
This is the full bus.
This is the full one. Is there
This
another
is
one?
okay. We're off at long last. That's okay. And we've got with us our driver is called Cliff. Don't know anything else about him except I'm sure he's a great driver. And we've also got Ash, who's taking your photographs, and he's doing mine right now, which is embarrassing. And I am, so to explain who I am, Priscilla Williams, and one has to give one's full Waka Papa, so I will do so. Descended from Bishop William Williams, Bishop Leonard Williams, Bishop Herbert Williams, Canon Nigel Williams, and then me. And so this tour is nothing about my part of the family whatsoever, and it's only really a story about three of Henry's sons. And we're very lucky because we're going to three houses that are not normally open, and particularly the two that are privately owned. So it's a real treat, and I'm sorry that we've had some... Henry going over to Pakaraka, you've heard, for those of you who've been at talks, that he was buying up land in the 1830s around Pakaraka. The soil's not too good on the beach, around the beach, so he looked inland to find places with better soil and of course land that Maori were willing to sell and that he felt was legitimate sales that he could do. Henry usually paid considerably over the going price for any land. And he bought on the basis of 1,100 acres per child inflow of Pākehās in 1840, and they in fact didn't know that was going to happen. There was an assumption by the Williams family that New Zealand, the country they knew, would remain Maori. They had not expected ever it to become a country of settlement. Certainly, as far as I know, in the 1830s they thought that way. They certainly did earlier. And so he wanted to make sure his family could earn their own living. He felt very strongly about that. So when the boys became 15, each of his sons became 15, they were sent over to Pakaraka to start earning a living, and they built barns and they built a rough house of some sort for them to live in. Henry was dismissed from the CMS. They got a letter from the CMS, which had taken a long time to reach them, but he was sort of expecting it could happen at some stage because he...
How many you got? 5, 6.
Thanks very much.
No worries.
He built this house here. He commenced around about 1858, 1859. By that stage he was in his early 40s, and it was quite a substantial project for him. And it was completed, Henry Williams Sr. Comments in his diaries, it was completed in 1864 when he commented on the verandas being commissioned. Probably the most significant piece is the old red barn down here. The Heritage New Zealand researched it for about 3 or 4 months in 1834, and that was used as, there was 4 bedrooms upstairs, there was 3 dormer windows on the roof on both sides, and obviously down there, a number of places died there. Busby either died in the old house or in the infirmary. She's buried in Kaihea.
Jamie, put your hand like that above them.
Yeah.
So we've just really kept it original.
Yeah.
And just being gentle with it.
Yeah.
This way.
Yeah.
Just
The view from it is so beautiful. That must be what sold out.
It must be one of the loveliest views of that sort. It's such an English view, don't you think, with the wall and the church?
Yeah, but somehow it's not.
Yeah.
And it would have folded back there. Yeah. You can go through here if you like. Yes, we've been through there. So Robbie Park.
I've got no hot water at the moment. I've got someone round the back. No one's going in the kitchen. And then we've got someone.
I'm going to stand here to stop you going into the house at present because we'll speak outside and if you stand around that bit you might be able to see me. And we've also got another Richard Gannon. Where's he got to?
Here he is.
Yeah, oh.
You could hardly miss it.
A little wee thing like that who used to be a trustee. So
Oh, okay.
there we are.
Oh, right. Well, I've got some big shoes to fill by the sounds of it, so. Oh, dear. So the house is largely original. The back part has been altered a couple of times. So the first extension was done in the late 1800s. And you'll see in the original painting, which is, that's not a great copy, but it used to be a single story. And then in the late 1800s, they turned it into a double story at the back, but they maintained the height upstairs. And then again, the previous owners, there's some pictures of what the house looked like when the previous owners bought it. It was in a terrible state. It should have almost, well, they were told the rest of the whole house is entirely Kauri. We have 14 rooms. It's quite a big size. It's very generous. It's spacious. They're not small rooms. The downstairs rooms exactly match the ones upstairs, so the size of the front rooms here are exactly the same size as the ones upstairs. Lovely bedrooms.
Yeah,
They're huge. It's a 4-metre stud downstairs, 3.8 upstairs, so they maintain the height upstairs, and then in the loft you could put another floor up there if you wanted to. We do still have the original Kauri shingle roof up there, and a couple of years ago this is on their 18 hours journey, only 18 hours.
Just happened we get a photographer on this trip.
And this is the last one.
Yes.
When's it finish tonight? When does it finish up
Oh.
Our little terrace house in Chiswick is exactly the same, and I don't even demonstrate.
Seems to be someone with a
Into the hallway, have a look downstairs there, and that. The best way to see the outside of the house, because every side of the house is quite different, is if you go through the gateway over here and just follow the wall up, and there's a really good view of the back of the house, and then you can come down through the garden, and you'll do the. They have a little hole in the front. So when we came here, we did that to really. It was even growing under up in.
Stuff here 100 years ago.
That's 1,700 acres.
No, but that was later.
No, that was when the lease. So that was when the lease family sold it. They never added any land to it. So that was the amount that they bought from Joseph. The family, Mr. Close, who was.
Yes, and serious.
like Roland's.
Yes, yes.
Yes, isn't that pretty? And much bigger rooms.
Much,
Much
yes.
bigger, yes. So this was a mansion. Yes.
Yeah, and built as a mansion.
Exactly.
He
Look at that.
Joseph wanted a mansion. And he got it, yes, look at this. Yeah.
Especially back there with all the little beds.
So I imagine a lot of the trees were already here.
Yes.
Struggling to stay alive.
Yes, this one was absolutely chosen.
Wasn't prepared to run around with it today, simply because I'm lazy and I've got a phone in my pocket. But okay, well, we might just get you later on. Good on. Likewise.
So they're building walls on walls. So there's no support beams. So it's all just that wall probably just goes straight up.
Yeah, because they might have had a car in through that would just take it. That's interesting. So in essence.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh no, it's a pleasure.
Just so
It's so
special.
nice that you can come and see it.
You guys go ahead.
I've got a lovely bottom.
You do. Yeah, very firm.
National significance, so they're looked after by the government. So the Ministry of Culture and Heritage is responsible for this grave, and they come up and inspect it about every 2 years. They complained to me about the fact you know. Nowadays, if they were drawing up a list, I don't know whether Henry would make it or not, but never mind. Here, so you might want to go and look in the church. We, the trust, put a new plaque inside the church because the previous one was historically incorrect, which annoyed me.
They're not sure originally information so you had a good poke around.
Don't spend time in the This is retreat. It's retreat not in soldierly terms, but in, I don't like the name, but still. But a retreat, can you listen to me talk at the same time or not?
Oh, yeah.
And I've got a photographer with me. We're doing a documentary for the Williams family, and I would like him to film a little bit inside. Here I am, Jeff. So, and this is Jeff, who's living in the house and who designed the pavilion.
Is that the one that they got all the cuttings from?
I don't know. Did someone get cuttings from here? No, is that would
That's
that
not,
be an old tree?
No, it's not an old tree.
You're the lady that we should be talking to.
Well, I'm an expert in gravestone repairs, so it's here, is it? Yes, I didn't have a look at it.
Where do we find
So
doing dirt and then beg forgiveness.
So the council, yeah, because the cemetery I look after, because it's I say it's the government council, but the council.
One of me and Henry?
The weekend's events and the Williams family.
Right. I'm Priscilla Williams. I'm descended from Bishop William, Bishop Leonard, Bishop Herbert, Canon Nigel Williams, and I am a trustee for the Museum Trust, which is where we're having this interview, and I'm also on the Reunion Committee. And 7.5 years ago, I went to Hugh McBain and said, I think you should chair a committee for our next reunion. So I see myself as starting off the reunion a long time ago, and it needed that much planning. And today we've been visiting 3 historic houses around Pakuraka area, and we went first to Puarua, which was built by Henry Jr., who was the son of Henry, who married his cousin Jane Jr., who was his first cousin and the daughter of William and Jane. And that was a lovely Victorian house, very beautifully looked after, built in about 1856. But the highlight of that is the barn that they have there. And this barn has now been dated at 1834. So it makes it one of the, in fact, the 8th oldest building known in New Zealand. So that's a really rare bit of history. And then we went to Nahea. It was built by Joseph Marsden Williams, Henry's youngest son, and it's a very beautiful house designed by Richard Keels with lovely arched windows and 8-foot high stud. A very elegant house and a very historic garden. And finally, last but not least, we are at the Retreat, which is the house built by Henry and Marianne Williams and their sons for when he was dismissed from the mission, and he called it the Retreat because this was where he retreated to. Not that Henry was a retreater at all, so it's not at all a retreat in battle, but a retirement. And he planted a lot of the trees here. The wisteria that is just by me is one of the plantings he did. So these plantings are 1850, and the house itself is a very, very beautiful Mission Georgian house. And as a trustee of it, I'm very pleased to look after it and also look after the items belonging to the Williams Museum that are here and on display. And so this bus tour has been for me a real delight as part of the reunion celebrations. And they've been great fun. I mean, for me, the greatest fun has been meeting up both with cousins I know and with cousins I knew about but hadn't ever met, particularly those from overseas. I've seen people I haven't seen for years and years, and I've made a lot of new connections. And I'm absolutely exhausted and can hardly talk any longer because I've been meeting so many people. So that's about it. Thank you.
I'm Richard Gavin. I'm from Hawke's Bay, and I am a descendant of Henry Williams. He is my great-great-great-grandfather, and we are up in Paihia for the 2023 family reunion. And today we've had the most wonderful day moving around, seeing wonderful houses that belong to our family. I'm a descendant of Edward Marsh Williams, and we saw his house up in the trees, and then we went to see Henry Jr.'s house at Pukeora, a wonderful, beautiful old house. It's been beautifully and lovingly restored. It was such a privilege going there. They had the oldest, the second oldest building, I think, in New Zealand there, that was built originally by the Williams family, and where they housed some of their family before they built the house at Pukeora, Puriora. And then we went to see Joe Williams's house up on a hill in a beautiful garden. It's also been lovingly restored. And we were so privileged to see these places because they're privately owned, and they kindly let us into their homes and around their gardens, which probably will never happen again. So lucky to have this day to do that. And now we're at this beautiful building here, this retreat, which was Henry and Mary Ann Williams's home, and set in a lovely setting. This was freeholded from private ownership by the Williams Trust. Money kindly lent by the Henry and William Williams Memorial Trust to purchase it, and now it's in the Williams ownership, which in time will be a museum which will be open to public viewing. At the moment there's only been enough money to restore the outside of the building, which they've done a fabulous job of, and in time they're going to do the inside, and it'll be a wonderful feature to come and visit when we come back to our family ancestral land. So we've had a fantastic day. Across the road from this retreat is the beautiful church.
Sorry, mate. I'm just going to get you to... You're doing a fantastic job. That's my arms gave out there. Just now come back in at the church that we just talked across the road.
Just across the road from the retreat is this beautiful church that was built by Henry. A stunning church and gorgeous inside. He and Mary Ann are buried just outside the church in a lovely little area that's secluded and fenced off for themselves. So really special coming there and seeing where Henry has been laid to rest, and also coming back to this land that he purchased when he was a missionary down in Paihia. I think over time he purchased about 11,000 acres, as I believe 1,000 acres was given to each child, that was allowed to given to each child, and of course he had 11 children, so 11,000 acres was appropriated to him. He was known to pay more than the going rate, and I think he paid double the going rate for the land here. And of course subsequently over time it's been cut up and sold off in parcels. So we are down to just holding on to and being able to visit these special places where they lived and worship God. So again, a wonderful day, and I'd just like to thank the Trust for having this opportunity to come here. Thank you.